Hello beautiful people, welcome to the channel. My name is Remi forde-hyde. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to calculate the measurements of a circle skirt and draft the skirt. Circle skirts are easy and fast to make. So if you would like to see how to make the circle skirt pattern, keep watching. Comment below if you would like to see more easier to understand pattern drafting tutorials, or if you have any ideas or suggestions, I would love to see them. Let's get drafting. You will need the following tools: pattern paper to draft, and with circle skirt you will need a very long pattern paper and wide. So we're going to be joining this pattern together using our sellotape so that we can get the length and width that we require. You will need rulers. I have my pattern master here to be able to draw those curved lines. I also have my French curve here, and then a long ruler if I need to draw any long lines. I have my markers here that I'm going to be using to draft so that you can see clearly what I'm doing, but you should use a pencil when drafting patterns. I have a tape measure here to take our measurements. I have my paper scissors here and my rotary cutter, so I can decide I want to use my scissors or I want to use my rotary cutter. You will need to take the following measurements: your waist circumference measurement and your skirt length measurement. Those are the only measurements we require for this skirt. The measurements I'll be working with are: my waist circumference is 38 inches, my skirt length is 26 inches. We will need to calculate the radius of our skirt, and the formula to do that calculation is radius is equal to waist circumference measurement divided by 6.284. I'm going to add 1 inch ease to the circumference of my skirt. Remember I said the circumference of my waist measurement is 38 inches, and when I add 1 inch ease allowance, it's going to give me 39 inches. I'm going to be adding a side zip to my skirt, so I'm not going to be adding any extra zipper allowance to my skirt. So if you want to have a back zip for your skirt, you're going to add either 1 inch or 2 inches zipper allowance to your skirt. Before you do your calculation, the formula to get our radius is waist circumference measurement divided by 6.284. And so if I divide my waist circumference measurement, which is 39, just like we have calculated, 38 plus 1 will give me 39 inches, and 39 inches divided by 6.284, that's going to give me 6.20 approximately. The radius of my waist is 6.20 inches, and that is what I'm going to be measuring for the waistline of my skirt. Do your calculations, find out what your radius is before you start drafting. I'll be using a belt width of 2 inches. Then I will subtract the 2 inches from the length of my skirt. Remember I said the length of my skirt is 26 inches. So by the time I remove the 2 inches band width, it's going to give me 24 inches. Therefore, 24 inches is our skirt length. I'm going to add 2 inches hem allowance, and that will give me 26 inches. So the length of the skirt I'm going to be measuring for is 26 inches. And then the band is 2 inches. Remember why it's 26 inches again? It's because I added 2 inches hem allowance. I will fold my pattern paper into 4 and make sure that it is long and wide enough for your skirt. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my pattern paper and I'm going to fold it into 4. I have folded my pattern paper into 4. So this is into 4 places. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. All I did was combine my pattern papers together and use sellotape to hold them together, and then I folded the first time and then I folded again. So that gives me 4 folded pattern papers. So the side we're going to be measuring from is the side that has the fold. This is where we're going to measure our radius from and the length of our skirt. Okay, so I'm going to start. I'll measure 6.2 starting from this top. So measure 6.2 inches. That puts me here. And then I'll take my tape, I'll turn it a bit and I'll mark. And then I'll take it again, turn it, and then I'll mark. I'll take my tape again, turn it, and then I'll mark. I'm just putting a dot, and then I will now connect the dots with my ruler. And then I'll take it again, and then I will mark. Okay, so these are my dotted lines. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to connect the points with my French curve. I'm going to start with a straight line, and I'll end with a straight line as well, so that you don't have pointy edges. I'm connecting my dots together. And once we get to the end, the straight side of my curve to end it. Okay, so this right here is our waistline. Always form a good habit of labeling your work. Write down what you've done. So what we did here, I came down by 6.2 inches. Okay, so that's what I did round the pattern. So I'm going to label this as my waistline, because this is going to be my waistline. So I'm going to write waistline. The next thing we're going to do is to mark out our skirt length. Mine is 26 inches, which I had already calculated. I will now measure the skirt length from my waistline, from one edge of the paper. So that's from this edge of my pattern paper. I'm going to measure my skirt length all the way to this edge of my pattern paper. And don't forget, we added 2 inches to the skirt length. That is 2 inches hem allowance. So I'm going to measure my skirt length, which I had calculated to be 26 inches. And then I'm going to put a dot there. So that's 26 inches puts me here. So I'm just going to use dotted lines all round as I'm measuring. So I've marked up my dotted lines, as you can see, all round up to the edge here. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to connect our points together using a curve ruler. So I'm going to connect from this edge all the way down to the other edge. And then I'm going to start with a straight line, just like we did for the other one. And then once I get to the end, I'm going to draw a straight line. So this is our skirt. Before I cut out this skirt, I'm going to add 1/2 inch sewing allowance to the waistline, so that we'll be able to attach the skirt to our waistband. So I'll now measure 1/2 inch. And then I'll connect it. So this is our 1/2 inch sewing allowance. And then this is our hemline. So I'm going to go ahead and label this hemline. So remember, in this hemline, we've included our 2 inches hem allowance. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut out the waistline and the hemline. So this is what our circle skirt looks like. So if I open it up, this is half of the skirt. This is the full circle skirt. This is really big. So I'm just going to make sure I label this. So I'm going to make this side my center front and this side my center back. So this is going to be my center front. Just make sure you indicate, and this is going to be my center back. So I said this is going to be my center front. I'm just going to notch. I'll just notch it so that I don't forget. I've written it anyway, and then I'll notch here as well. So this is going to be my center back, so that by the time I cut this on a fabric, I can now notch and know exactly where my center front is and where my center back is. And then we have the sides. Make sure you confirm that your waistline is correct. All you need to do to confirm this is to measure your waistline like this, making sure that it is correct. For me, this is correct. This is fine. Don't forget to take into account the 1/2 inch sewing allowance you added. Okay, so if you want to add an elastic To the waist, all you need to do is add extra seam allowance to be able to get the waist of the skirt to go through your hips. So this is my pattern. So this is my center back and this is my center front. Write everything out and add your notches so that when you take this pattern, you remember what you did and then you know where your center back is and where your center front is. So the next thing we're going to do now is to draft our waistband. In doing so, we need our waist circumference measurement. Mine is 39 inches, and if I divide 39 inches by 2, it's going to give me 19.5 inches. I'm going to add half an inch seam allowance on both sides. So that will give me 1 inch. So 19.5 plus 1 inch, that will give me 20.5 inches. So this is my paper. So I'm going to put it on fold, because I want the center front to be on fold while I'm attaching it to my skirt. So this is on fold, and then we've calculated 20.5 inches. So I'm now going to measure 20.5 inches because I'm just adding half an inch sewing allowance. So 20.5 will put me here. I'm just going to mark. I will do the same thing at the bottom. 20.5 puts me here. Then I will draw a vertical line to connect the points. Width of my band, like I mentioned earlier, is going to be 2 inches. So you can decide to increase yours or you can reduce it. It all depends. This is a preference. This is a choice. The top of the band is going to be on fold like this. So what I'll need to do is to increase that measurement by 2. So 2 by 2 is going to give me 4 inches. And then I will add half an inch seam allowance on each side. So that's an extra 1 inch. I'm going to measure 5 inches. And then I'll connect the points horizontally like this. The next thing I'm going to do is cut it out. So this is our waistband. So when I open it up, this is what we have. And then don't forget, I'm going to fold it like this because the top of the waistband is going to be on fold. So this is our waistband. So this side is going to be on fold. You're putting your fabric on fold. This is on fold. And then the length, I'm just going to indicate, the length is 39 inches. And then the width is 2 inches. I added 1 inch extra for sewing allowance. So this is our band. So I'm just going to write band for circle skirt, so that you know that this is for your circle skirt. This band, I'm cutting only one. Place that is on fold is my center front. So I'm just going to notch it, just to indicate that this is my center front. Okay, so this is going to be in the front and then it's just going to go like all around. So this is the band for our circle skirt. So this is the circle skirt and this is our band. You can use this method to create a lot of different designs for your skirts, dresses, and sleeves. The possibilities are endless. If you would like to see the sewing of this circle skirt pattern, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. See you in our next tutorial. Take care and God bless.